That's housekeeping. Let's fucking get it. The topic is going to be a fish. We're going to talk about a fish again, a specific fish that has some ties into the early part of the year. The bowfin.
Yes.
Now, I have to kick it off like this, and this is why it has ties into things. We'll get to it. We'll let Tim close on it. We'll let it work its way in, whatever. But the bowfin, they are known as dogfish also. It is very common to call them dogfish as well. Tim, that was like the first thing you called it was a dogfish. And I was like, what the fuck is a dogfish? I was like, I know what a dogfish is, but I feel like it's been so, I don't know. I don't want to say trivialized where it's just like, everything's a dogfish. If I don't know what it is, it's a fucking dogfish.
Right.
But kind of in a way,
yeah,
I do think that because the more I also learned about burbot,
I think
people were calling burbot dogfish. And now I don't remember all that right now as we're talking. But I just want to say, like, that's where my perception of like,
yeah,
I've never seen a dogfish. I've been, around a lot of fishing, and I've seen a lot of fishing, and it's just like nobody ever shows me a dogfish. Nobody ever goes like, I got a picture of a dogfish. Look, I caught the dogfish. They always just be telling stories about dogfish.
Yeah.
I was like, sounds mythical.
I got a picture someplace. I caught one.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I caught one off a fishing pier.
Really?
Yeah, randomly. Wasn't real big, but yeah, I was fishing for it, and then I reel it up, and sure enough, doing its thing. Barking. That's why they call them dogfish, dude. They bark. They make weird noises.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they make weird ass noises.
It never came up in the research that was like a reason to call them that.
When you Google dogfish, it doesn't pop up normally right away because a dogfish is a shark.
Right. There is like a dogfish. Yeah. To the wider world. Right. Yeah. To the wider world. Yeah. There's a dogfish shark.
Which I think is better description. Like more fitting. Because I feel like a shark is more like a dog and would be like a dogfish.
You mean like in the sense of like it'll fetch for you and shit?
Or yeah, like, well, if you throw something, it's going to chase it down. You try to run from it, it's going to fucking swim after you and bite your goddamn foot. Like if you catch it and it feels threatened and you put your hand in the wrong spot, it'll turn around and nip you.
Yeah. I got you. A lot more dog characteristics. Yeah. And
then we do have the one that ours makes noise. It doesn't necessarily sound like a bark, but it's weird.
Barks.
It kind of sounds like a bark, but it's like in distress, and you're like holding its mouth shut. It's like it comes from in here.
Right.
It's weird. Yeah, dude.
That must be weird to hear though. Like when you pull up a fish, that's got to be a little distressing on its own.
It is, because you catch it. And you're just like, I heard these things making noise, and you hear it, and you go, oh shit, because then you got to look at everybody that's near you. You hear it?
Right, yeah. I'm not the only one, right?
Yeah, because you never actually, like, catch one. But yeah, it's because I didn't read everything that you wrote down, but it's because they can breathe air. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we'll get into it for sure. But yeah. You already knew that. So yeah. I mean,
but they don't have lungs.
No, they do not have lungs, and we'll get in. Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's just keep it going here. Because yes, they're dogfish. There it is. Put it to bed. Everybody, like everywhere, it's like, yep. They definitely common name is dogfish.
Do you have all the other nicknames?
I do. I don't have all of them, but I have a good amount of them.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of them.
They're okay. So I'll just say this before that was a great setup. Before I read this list, this is an incomplete list. There are super localized nicknames for these things that I did not write down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call them dogfish up here. And when you get to other areas, they're just like, oh yeah, that's the old what so-and-so.
Yeah. Like down in the bayou, like they have a different name for it. And you know, there was hyper localized ones that, in my opinion, they were hyper localized. I didn't even write them down. But you can also, from some of this, we'll get into it. So this one wasn't really like this one's more of a kind of like spin off of the name and stuff. Mia Calva. I was like, never heard of that. But they were like, that's what you call them. I'm like, what? Okay. A grindle. A mudfish.
Yeah.
Grindle, you heard that one?
Well, I remember that one when I was looking into it because I remember thinking of Grundle was I think that's the like monster from Beowulf. Is the Grundle.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that guy's known as being like a piece of shit. and these Dogfish got kind of a reputation of being a dickhead.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah.
We'll kind of we'll have time to talk about that. Okay, mudfish was another one.
Yep.
Blackfish.
Yep.
Cottonfish.
Oh, I didn't hear cottonfish. That's a weird one.
So I got a little more info on that one. And a cypress trout.
Ooh.
So here we have a little bit of like some of the, I think the cottonfish and the cypress trout are a little bit of localized ones.
Sure.
Because first of all, cypress, right? Like,
right.
There's only cypress trees in so much of the United States. So that has to be. Cottonfish was very weird because it was like a texture thing. And I was like, okay. That's weird.
Smooth.
But it didn't appear to be a texture thing for the fish while it's alive. It was like a cooked thing.
Like the meat.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I didn't write it all down. I just was like, so
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because do you have anything about the cuisine
of the Bowfin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we can jump into it quick.
Well, we can go back. We can go to that later. I was just wondering if you got it, so we can touch on that. So we can touch on what maybe the reason for cottonfish is in a little bit. But like some of the ones that I found were interesting when I was looking at the names.
Yeah.
Did you say mudfish?
Yeah, the mudfish. Yep.
Yeah, and blackfish.
Yep.
Blackfish are like and mudfish are like the two that I heard people like referring to them as like that's their known ones.
Okay.
But I also heard like German bass, shoe pike, bugle mouth bass, which makes sense because of the
okay.
It's not a small mouth, it's not a large mouth. That fucker makes noise. He's a bugle bass. Or like another one was scaly cat, which makes sense that it kind of looks like a little catfish, but then their face are like, I've always thought of them as looking like armor plated. So I could see why somebody would call it like a scaly cat. Like catfish don't have scales.
Because cat don't have scales. Mm-hmm.
And the bowfin is smooth as well, except for when you see their face, it's like armor plated.
Right.
I think they look like Pokemon, dude. Their face are nothing like any fish you've seen. They look like dinosaurs.
It is a fucking dinosaur, dude.
Really?
We'll get into that in a little. Like we'll go into that because that'll tie into like me and you and fishing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip over like the scientific name for right now, but and just jump into it because they are fucking dinosaurs, dude. It's the only recognized living representative of its family, the Amida, which dates back to the Jurassic period, 200 to 145 million years ago.
Damn, dude.
They are descendants of fucking dinosaurs, man. And
so I'm not fibbing when I say it's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's the only one left of its kind. And they're doing just fine because they can breathe air. I heard... Oh, hold on a second. I got it. We could talk about more stuff, but I got it.
Well, you said it's the only one. So we'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh, are there more?
Hold that. Yeah, just put a pin in that thought.
Okay.
We'll get to it later. Keep going.
Okay. So they got a couple of... I found an article where I was reading stuff about them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where I saw this different stuff. And this article was on... So the article actually came from fishingsecrets.com.
Okay.
By a dude named Tony Little.
Nice.
So shout out Tony if you hear this, because I thought it was a great article. But it's on like some other website where there's like a forum, so people are allowed like to
Oh,
kind of like
yeah, yeah.
say stuff about this article.
Okay.
And people were saying that um this is where I heard the people talking about the different
The names, like the nicknames and shit.
the different names.
Yeah.
The one guy does say Grinnell's here in Texas.
Mm.
And he says, I catch 1 or 2 a year. Always think it's the best until I see it. Kind of nasty critter. Like, but one of them said, the other one says, yeah, the old blackfish menace. And then he says, in my neck of the woods, the hurricanes killed the rivers here, and only thing left was the bowfin. Like, so it wiped out the rivers, and the bowfin that's why they're still living after all this time, because a hurricane can take out all the rivers, all the other fish perish, and the bowfin is just like, why don't you idiots just breathe the air?
Dude, yes. Yes. That is going to become a theme. Yes, that is such a good setup. Like, with that in mind, continue listening to the rest of the podcast, because this fucking fish, man, is crazy to know. You know, it's like, okay, the only living representative of its family, the Amidae, which goes back to the Jurassic period. What the fuck, dude? You already know it breathes air. It does breathe air.
Yep.
Here's the part that blows me away. Okay.
Yeah.
Muddy fish, mudfish, you know, like wipes out the river. Bowfin's still there.
Yep.
These are freshwater fish.
Yeah.
They're not brackish water fish.
Right.
I never saw that they were brackish water.
No, me neither.
So they're from the Great Lakes through the Mississippi Basin, you know, spread out from the Mississippi Basin all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
Just to give that high level. But this is the part that blows me away. Clear water.
Yeah, dude.
I couldn't fucking believe it. They got this reputation of just being like a dirty catfish, basically, right? And catfish live in the mud. Like, all catfish live in the fucking mud. It's called a mudfish some places.
Right.
You know, the blackfish would indicate that it lives in a darker water environment.
Right.
As we've seen from other fish, you know, it's like kind of like the deeper they live or the like more mucky it is, they tend to kind of adapt to the area.
Yep.
But they prefer clear water. I was like, what?
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is that they'll like deal with stuff and then they just have their preferences. When you were saying that they're not in brackish waters, I think it's probably just a preference, just based off of this fish. I think it's just like, if you put it in salt water, it would just be like, well, so it's a little bit of salt.
It kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
It really does.
I don't think a lot holds this down, dude. And based off of the things I was reading about the veracity, because one of the things I really looked into was it attacking humans, because I have heard things since I was a kid that, like, because some people will be the same stories we talked about it before, where people would be like, hey, my sister fed the hot dogs off the dock, and then the northern would come up and bite the toes, or the muskie. Right. A lot of times they'd be the muskie.
Muskies, yeah.
And then like the more old timey, like true fishermen, those were always the ones that just be like, yeah, the muskie's not the ones you ought to be scared of, kids. It's them bowfin, the dogfish. You're just like, damn, dude, that's nuts. Whoa. For real? You got to be in there. And they're just like, yeah, you walk into the wrong spot. And I just start thinking about the Jaws guy. just like eyes roll back black like doll's eyes. Just that's not true, dude. No, it is not true. But the dogfish will fuck you up. Better watch out there.
You got that. That's the guy at the local bar. Like you totally can picture that guy. He's got his pitcher.
Yeah,
And
he's just got like a scar over like his eye, and one eye's white.
Yep.
And they're just like, everybody's having a good time, and they're just like, the dogfish doesn't. And you hear like the needle. And then like everybody, like the crowd parts, and he's just sitting over on a thing with the one shot glass, and he's just like,
yep.
You kids don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, oh damn, dude.
Oh shit. Listen up. So yeah, the Clearwater thing blew me away, but they can definitely hang out in the mud. Like murky waters, mud, no problem. I saw more than one account of farmers found them in their field after freshly plowing a flooded field.
Yeah, but they found them alive,
a freshly flooded field that was able to be plowed. Just Bowfin in there, just fucking breathing air, hanging out.
Just, can you guys help me? like I can live.
Could I get a lift, or
yeah?
What are you thinking? Could really use some clean water right now.
Yeah, totally still alive, but as you can see, no feet, so you good.
It's like I kind of have this traveling problem.
Right.
I just
dude,
fucking couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my god.
That happens a lot with fish when the rivers get high, that they'll go up, because a lot of times when the water raises up, fish happens with a lot of different species. When the water rises, the fish go shallow.
Yep.
Because it's like washing like new food into the water. Could be crayfish, could be bugs, insects, whatever it is. Right. It's all up shallow. So they move up shallow.
Yep.
And then if the water retreats and they're not in the right spot, it doesn't need to get that deep before certain spots of hills and stuff all of a sudden just cut them off completely from the main river.
Right.
And they're stuck in this little pond, and then they go, shit.
Right.
And most fish just die. And then the bowfin just goes, did it again. You guys, God, second year in a row. I should have known.
It's not the first time. Shit.
Yeah.
But so yeah, crazy fish. That's the thing. Most of them die off, and the bowfin hangs in. The other thing that got me about their habitat, adults typically live deep. Like they kind of live down there. So like if you're fishing for them, they're going to go down there. You know, like they might be down quite a ways. So when they were called bass and stuff like that, I was like, people calling them bass. That's kind of interesting. But I also read that at night they tend to come into the shallows. So it's almost like they don't like the sun or something.
I mean, it could be that they just like it to be a little bit cooler, but yeah, you don't see them swimming around a lot. I have seen them before.
Okay.
And I had that one eat my sunfish on the stringer still. Just swims away with the friggin' stringer out of its mouth.
Oh my God.
That one was just like, what are you doing, dude? All of a sudden, yeah. But that was up shallow. I was real shallow.
Sure.
That was when I was way younger. I had one big sunfish on like the old school style stringer where you put it through the gill and then like, you know, it's got like a keychain loop and you pull it.
Yeah.
And you just
so like the metal spike on the nylon rope.
Yeah.
And you put it through. Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't even like really put it on there on the boat at all. Mm-hmm. It was like half-assed because I'm like, this sunfish isn't going to pull it off.
Right.
I was not thinking about another fish coming to eat it because you go and you go out there and fish and stuff, and you're always trying to use like the smallest line and stuff because you don't want them to see it.
Right.
And this literally has a rope hanging out of its mouth.
Right.
And the bowfin's just like, I don't give a shit, dude. And just ate it. And it swam away, and I tried to catch it. I couldn't. I was trying to like just get a hold of that rope. And
crazy.
Yeah, he was gone, but that was a big one. That's why I was talking. Like that's why we brought up before,
Uh-huh.
possibly talking about breaking the state record because those are big ass. I'm talking. It was a big ass sunfish, dude. I had a big ass sunfish on that
Yeah.
stringer, and he ate that motherfucker whole,
Just
swallowed the whole stringer.
chomped.
I didn't see it happen. I just go, where the fuck is my stringer? And then I saw him swimming away with it in his mouth. Like,
Fuck.
son of a bitch.
Dude,
You
that's
guys are
crazy.
crafty. Yeah. But I mean, that's how you gotta catch them, I guess. Use a giant fish in shallow
Well,
water in the
maybe we'll get into what they eat and stuff like that, but
yeah.
we'll jump into size now because when you said like how big they get, I wanted to hear what you've seen in comparison to other things because long tube-like fish is what they just kind of describe it, and you described it as like a Pokemon.
Dude, they got
Because
big
the
ass
head
on
is
them.
fucking weird. It's almost like other part, like Pokemon are kind of like, not to shit on Pokemon design because almost all of them are really good, but like
Yeah.
they're parts of other animals. This thing looks like it's
Yeah.
fucking been put together with other things.
Right.
And
Right.
you're used to seeing lots of northerns and muskies and stuff like that swimming
Right.
around underwater. This is a tube-like fish.
Yeah.
Similar colors in our area to muskies and northerns and stuff like that. In a way, that greenish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Closer to northern, I would say, because it's like darker the whole way. A muskie's like
Right.
got like a light background.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's that darker green, almost brown, like somewhere in there.
So,
it blends in with the weeds good as hell, and the weeds are all brown and green.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you see them when they're swimming away, like this description of them being tube-like, does it fit in with that northern and that musky like feel,
Yeah.
or is it just something you can just pick out because it's more tube-like in a circular fashion where the other ones are like fucking
No, it's
narrow?
it's real. The body's kind of similar when you see them swimming, but I think the biggest difference is that you can see it in the face.
Just
Like
that fucking head shape.
the northerns have a long face and the bowfin does not. It is definitely a shorter face. So
Yeah.
it just kind of it's like almost the profile from the top of like a lake trout, where it's just like a stubbier nose,
Uh-huh.
but that head is wide and it's thick because of like a muskie and a northern can have like a wide head, like kind of by the eyes, and
Okay.
then it'll just kind of like go up to like where the snout is because that's their whole mouth opens up. And a bowfin is like it's kind of like thick by the eyes, and then it just kind of like rounds off faster.
And then that's it.
Yeah, their face isn't nearly as long.
Yeah. Does that dorsal fin on top? Because they have one long dorsal fin that goes from like mid back to their ass, basically to their tail.
That's why they get confused with the eel pout sometimes.
Oh yeah, because they have that similar like that.
Yeah, because they have that same kind of tail, and they're just weird looking, and people don't catch them much.
Right.
So when you catch them, people are just like, "What the hell is that? Is it a dogfish? What is that?"
Right. That's what I think leads to like almost the mystery, that added level of mystery, like we opened up with. Like,
yeah, they're really easy to tell the difference when you know what they are, like the differences between the two. They're very easy to tell the difference. I don't think they look alike at all.
Right.
But they're really the only two fish that we have that has that kind of a tail.
Yeah. And that single dorsal fin across the top too. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got catfish, certain catfish can kind of have a tail that looks like that.
Sure.
But it doesn't go all the way up. They have like a separate spiny dorsal fin normally.
Yeah. A catfish.
Depending on the species. But yeah, it's a wild looking fish, but when you see it in the water, you can tell. And then the biggest thing is if you get a good look at its tail, it's got that black dot. They all have that black dot. It's like a walleye has the white tip on the tail.
Oh yeah.
Which is very easy to identify once you see it. You're like, white tip, that's the walleye.
Once you know what you're looking for. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because sometimes I've seen them like deeper in the water and you have like, you're not 100% sure what you're seeing. And then you get a good look at the tail. And you go, fuck, that was a walleye for sure. That was a big walleye, dude. Big walleye. You get excited, but he already saw you, so most likely he's not going to bite.
Right.
Those walleyes are one that stands true for. Sometimes people say like if they see you, you aren't going to catch them, and a lot of things I've been able to coax into eating still. But a walleye has been one where if I see it, normally I can't catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe if I spot it from a distance, but like if I see it like underneath the boat, I go fuck.
Right.
He knows I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been busted, dude.
Shit. Damn it.
Yeah, but the bowfin too. I've seen those fucking things. I've tried to throw frogs over them. I've tried to throw crankbaits over them. I've seen them. I know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it doesn't want anything to do with the baits I'm tossing.
That's so weird because again, to the whole like it's been around for fucking ever and the hurricanes wipe it out, or wipe out the rivers, but the bowfin stays around.
Yeah.
We're not done with the fish itself yet, but because I want to go back to that black dot, but you just brought it up. It's too good. They eat fucking anything, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just look at this fish and you go, I think this fish likes good shit, like clear water. And
yeah.
I think it likes big fat sunnies. And I think it enjoys luxuries. Like
right.
I know I'm personifying this thing, but it's like it likes to live in luxury.
Yeah.
But if it's got to live a hard life, fuck it. It's fine. It's going to hang in there.
Yeah.
It'll fucking eat anything. So I can't believe I'm hearing you throw frogs and all this other shit. And it just doesn't want it because like, here's what they eat. Amphibians, crustaceans, insects, snakes, other fish. It's carnivorous. It'll fucking eat anything that moves basically. But getting it to eat it though, maybe not easy as an angler.
I don't know, dude. I've seen them and I have a hard time getting them to bite. There's definitely less numbers of those fish than anything else. The one that I caught was on a worm. And since you were saying that it like likes to live in luxury, now I'm picturing that same like old man, but like now that's the fish. And the fish is more just like, I'm picturing like another fish just being like, the river's coming in here and it's getting awfully murky right here. And then that fish is just like, I've seen worse, kid. You should come deeper. It's going to get warm. It just does whatever it wants.
Right.
It knows what's going on. And they're just like, have you ever been hard up for food? And just like, what do you do if they have a stringer? Like if you see a fish just hanging there, you don't eat those, do you? What do you mean you don't eat those? They're just there. You eat those.
Yes, dude. It's so funny.
I feel like it's just like that fish is the old man. They're just like one and the same.
They are the
person.
same. Yeah.
They've been around forever. Nothing can kill them.
Right.
And they're just like, don't give a shit about anything.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is that to put more of that personality on it, even they can live 30 fucking years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time for a fish.
Yeah, that's like double a lot of the fish around here. That's like twice as for sure.
Right. And it makes it makes that old man personification of a bowfin even just more perfect. Of like,
right. And then their fish years too, like how dog years are too. It's probably 30, but in like whatever fish years, it's probably like the one fish year equals like 10 human years. I would like to say like further. It's like 30 human years. Mm-hmm. So he's like 300 years old in his.
He's a fucking Gandalf of fish.
Yeah.
Old fucking has a beard somehow.
Yeah. For whatever reason, he jumps one time just to show one of the other fish. And then lands back and they're just like, whoa, Grandpa, I didn't know you could do that. He's just like, do what? Sometimes you got to get up, kid. Just like doesn't give a shit. I don't know. Now we're just making these things out to be just the coolest damn fish in the world.
I know, dude.
It's voiced by that old guy that voices everything. That
Yep.
big white mustache.
But yep. Voices over all that shit. That's who exactly you're doing. That voice is spot on, dude.
It's 100% who I've been watching that 1883 with the wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
Nice.
Yeah, he's like the main guy in there. So I got that in there, and then my son watches The Good Dinosaur.
Yep.
You just can't, Arlo.
Yep.
He's the dad dinosaur. So.
No, he's the dad T-Rex in Good Dinosaur.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's not the. Yeah, he's. I told him what for. Yeah, what does he even say? He got bit in the face by
a gator.
By a gator.
Yep.
He just got the gator's tooth is next to his tooth.
Yeah.
Oh, that he says that one line I love in there. He just goes, "Just one thing, I wasn't ready for dying."
That's right.
That's 100% the Bowfin saying shit like that.
Right.
I swam up, river went down, lost all the water, sitting in that farmer's field, baking in the sun. Just one thing, I wasn't ready for dying.
Oh my God, that's so good. Yes, dude. Nailed it.
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that air bladder there for a second. We'll get back to the dot still. We can't forget about the dot on the tail because it's very there's some stuff about it. But let's talk about that air thing because you're right. They don't have lungs.
Right.
It's not like they have fucking some kind of weird hybrid situation going on. No,
they have the same shit as every other fish.
Yeah. They have an air bladder, but they know how they can breathe using this air bladder. So they go up and they do that right away. Like it's something they're born instinct with. Because you can catch the little ones, like the school of little fish, gulping air. Like they're already learning how to gulp air or like training it or whatever it is. The school of little bowfins will go gulp air.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
And they've just somehow figured out how to use it.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say every other fish because I don't know if all other fish have it. But yeah, it's like
a
swim bladder.
Have air bladders, though.
Yeah, and they can pull it in and just like hold the air. It's what helps them suspend.
Right.
They get a little bit of air in there, and that's what like makes them, sit level. That's why they don't sink or rise. They're just right where they want to be. And for whatever reason, these fuckers know how to pull it in faster. And I don't know if they can just swim up and like get some in there. And it must just be enough oxygen that they can like absorb through the bladder or whatever. That, like, because the gills are just taking oxygen out of the water. I don't know if their swim bladder just has that same capability. Somehow it must.
In some way it does. Yes, because it very, like my research was it's breathing through the air bladder.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And that's the same way it makes the noise. Because it doesn't have like vocal cords. It just has that like pouch of air in it. And it like squeezes it out and it just goes, oh. That's why it makes that weird noise. Because it's coming from down wherever the fuck the air bladder
wherever
is.
that bladder is.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's what it's doing is like as soon as it gets out of the water, it just starts trying to breathe. Right. It's not doing it's not trying to make a noise.
I don't know.
But it's just what happens
when it breathes in. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't catch that part. Again, I didn't hear anything about and when I was reading, nothing said anything about the noise that they make, but it was very clear. Like, it breathes through gills. Don't get it twisted. It's a fish. Loves clear water. It breathes water. It breathes in the water. It's got gills.
Yeah.
Times get hard. It uses that air bladder to breathe.
Does what it wants.
Holy shit.
Gnarly.
Yeah, dude. So crazy.
That's crazy.
So let's talk about this dot on its tail quick, because that's like one of the big dead giveaways on it.
Big giveaway.
The males are the only ones with the black dot. Females do not have the black dot. So that's something, unless...
Well, what the shit?
They're juvenile. So Juveniles have a black dot for a while.
Yeah.
And then when they mature, it's only the males, not the females. And there's like a yellow orangish dot around the black dot too. So like that's how
Right.
you can really
Yeah.
tell a mature male for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, so males and females, while they're juveniles, they both have the dot, but the dot kind of moves up and it becomes the big dominant black dot that it is when it's a mature male. Females, no dot.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've only caught, or like I did catch the one with the dot and seen another one with the dot. I wonder if I have a female. I haven't saw one in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't too long ago. It was like a couple of years ago where I saw one. Like, oh shit, I haven't seen that in a while. I didn't think they were still here, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I can identify the fish from the face
Right.
and the body so well that I
Yeah.
don't look for that dot, especially when I'm in shallow water. Like I know what I'm looking at, so I don't know if I really even paid attention to the dot.
Mm-hmm.
And it might have been something where I'm just like, can't see the dot. We catch it. I'll show you the dot. And
Yeah.
maybe it literally was I wasn't seeing a dot because it wasn't a male.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I learned something today.
Good. That's the whole point of this shit. But so on that note, the females are also bigger, which is no surprise, right?
That's pretty. I think across the board,
that's almost always
ladies,
the case, right?
Yeah, I think the ladies get bigger with almost every species. I don't know if there is one where it's opposite that.
Yeah. I mean, every time we do one of these fish episodes, it's just like, it just always is the case. It's like, that was just a familiar thing.
Mm-hmm.
So on that stat though, let's talk about that. Let's talk about stats and sizes and stuff like that. Up to 30 inches and 21.5 pounds, roughly 21.6 pounds. That's sort of like here's what stats say.
Yeah.
Go to Minnesota. We got 12 pounds, 9 ounces for 31.5 inches. That's our record.
Okay.
That's out of the Mississippi there, over in Wabasha.
Telling you, those things got to be close, bro. Got to be close. Those fish. Man, I got to catch one.
The ones that you've seen?
Yeah. The one that I caught on that one lake had to have been, I don't know, maybe like 20 something, like a little bit over 20 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like 22 or something. 20. And it was only like 5 pounds. It was kind of skinny. It wasn't that big.
Okay.
20 might be too long, but it wasn't that big. It was only like a 5 pound fish.
Okay.
It put up a pretty decent fight, but yeah, it's like a quarter of what it could be. And it definitely was nowhere near the 2 fish that I've seen.
Okay.
I used to swim around up shallow.
Uh-huh.
And that's why that's why people are like, don't go over there. Those are the bad ones.
Because they could see them. And then, it's rumor. What is it? The lore around it is bigger than the fish itself, kind of situation.
But this one I was actually able to find some stories. It's not 100% lore. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the largest one in the United States at 21.8 pounds from South Carolina.
Okay. That's a big. 21.8 is heavy.
Yeah, like that's got some weight to it, right?
Yeah. That's, I think like a 40 inch muskie is like around that weight.
Holy shit! That's what I was hoping you were going to say, because I was going to say, what is a muskie?
They're tanky. Yeah, like a 30 inch walleye would weigh probably like in the realm of like 15 to 16 pounds.
Oh, yeah. So if you talk about this 31.5 inch one, weighing
Yeah.
12 pounds. That was actually like that was what the bowfin weighed. So like it's not, that was a heavy walleye that you were talking about.
Yes, that's 30 inches of trophy. Like a
Yeah.
walleye, 30
Yeah.
inches, like that's the kind that you put on your wall. So that's a big ass walleye.
Yeah, and they get like, and walleyes get some big old tum tums on them. Like those things can get,
Yeah, they do. They get fat,
those
dude.
can get huge. This bowfins just seem to stay this tube, and so yeah, it just make me think. Anyways, we'll jump off that, and
Ooh,
we're gonna talk. Oh, okay.
my man. I just looked up the walleye conversion weight chart just as a guess. Like the biggest ones I've heard of are like 16 to 18. So that's what I was guessing. And I'm guessing those are more like what you're talking about, where they do get really fat.
Mm,
Because on average, it's showing like a 30-inch walleye is like 10, 31-inch is 11 pounds.
mm,
So that thing's like twice the weight of a walleye at the
mm.
same length.
Holy shit.
And I bet half of it's its fucking head.
Yeah,
That
it's that
armor-plated
tube. It's just like
monster.
it just keeps itself as one big fucking tubey tank thing.
Yeah, they're thick, dude.
They are. So okay,
Ferocious.
let's get into that, because we already talked about how they'll just like fucking eat anything, and they have
Yeah.
these teeth, conical teeth is what I kept. They're cone like teeth. So this thing's got some like ancient fucking looking teeth on it, even. In my opinion, I have never seen them up close, but I know what a cone tooth looks like, and I'm just like, that's a dinosaur tooth.
Walleyes have like cone-shaped teeth too, but
Do they?
yeah, a little bit. That's why you can handle them like it. Like northern and musky are like shaped
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
and they'll fucking slash you. Like if
Yeah.
you put your hand in their mouth, like you're gonna bleed
You're
probably.
gonna get cut up. Yeah.
But the walleye teeth are there. It's more like a puncture wound, if anything.
Oh.
Like you can reach in and grab your jig out and not have to worry about it.
Oh.
But walleyes are also like, once you catch them, they're
Mhm.
not dicks. You know, they're not still like,
Yeah.
fuck you, motherfucker.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
that's
they're
what it
pretty
seems
mellow.
like these guys are.
I would assume that they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those teeth. So what do you hear? What are the stories that you're hearing about these teeth? Because like people seem to be so afraid of them, but like you just explained, though, most people don't have too much of a problem with walleye. But you see a walleye, like a mounted walleye, you see those teeth on there. It's it's something I'm intimidated by, because I don't know, I haven't had enough hands-on experience with them. So I'm thinking, fuck that. This fish is crazy and it's got crazy teeth. No wonder the stories are huge, but they're not just lore.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely not, because
Fuck.
this guy was talking about different stuff and how he fought it. And it says that the fishermen are often fooled by the bowfin's tremendous fight. Bowfin remind me, I don't even know what the hell this is supposed to mean. Bowfin remind me of a cross between a beaver, snake, muskie, and catfish. Which is like, what the hell would that be? I don't even know. I haven't never caught
That's
a
the
snake
weirdest Pokemon
or a
I've ever heard
beaver.
of.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any of that shit. But it says that it'll eat almost anything, and there's a good chance that after landing a nice sized bowfin, your spinner bait or weapon of choice has seen its last day on the water. Dogfish destroy anything it comes in contact with their mouths. Fight harder than anything you've ever caught, and will tear some meat loose from your body if you're not careful.
Jeez.
Yeah, their head is large and flat on top, consisting of a double skull of bone.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't know if that's like the armor plating is like legitimately like another bone on the outside. And it says double, consisting of a double skull of bone and cartilage.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that's like a secondary, but it says their teeth are sharp and strong. Handling guys isn't an art, but it takes brute force.
Fuck
And one of these
that.
people says in the comments, he says, you said some bowfin even attack humans. Now, before I tell you this, what happens, what they're saying is that it has its offspring
Yep.
and it will protect them until they're like 4 to 8 inches long.
Yep.
And it will protect them from anything,
Yeah.
including humans.
Okay. Yeah. I wrote that down actually. Not that part exactly, but here's what I wrote down. Is that
Okay.
so we won't go in the spawning yet, but I said male will protect the eggs and the littles until they're ready to forage on their own. You just said like 4 to 6 inches, right?
Yeah.
They will fight off predators to the school of fry.
Yeah. And they'll fight off anything, including humans. And this guy says, where you say that they even attack humans. I've had a male around 8 pounds clamp onto my foot while I was swimming, and he didn't let go. We had to get a metal rod and raise the jaws off my foot, and I had to get 12 stitches to cover the wound.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's just like you got up into its area and it had its babies, and it just goes, fuck you, foot. And just,
holy shit.
Yeah. So it will, like, I don't think it's like super duper common because, like I said, those two bowfin used to be relatively close to the cabin and we would see them all the time.
Okay.
And there was nobody from my cabin or the couple cabins over that ever got bit by one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and those, they had to have had fry around the same time.
I would think so. I would think so. But here's something else too about that. Well, yeah, here goes spawning. Let's talk about it because here's why I think it's not. So yes, they have a reputation and that happens and that, I believe that guy's story entirely.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Here's where I think we're probably getting a southern story versus something up here. And so they spawn in the spring.
Yeah.
It between April and June is what it said. But remember, okay, so these things are down south too. And there's a difference between spring in Florida and spring in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I actually found the water temp, and they say 61 to 66 degrees. Ain't nobody swimming in 61 and 66 degree water up here. Fuck that.
No, but that's when they spawn. So they be protecting their fry well in the summer.
No, not really. It's only a few days. Like they don't hang. They're not that. You think so? From what I saw, it doesn't take them that long to get up to speed.
They protect their fry, from what I read, until they get to like 4 to 8 inches long. And I don't know how big they start, but I was imagining like they're definitely not coming out 8 inches. Like this is like 4.
Right.
8 is like
double. Yeah,
that's a big fish right away.
Fish.
That's like a
fry.
That's like that size, depending on
damn
how big they come out, would be considered, like in a walleye or anything else, would be considered like a yearling. Which is the nickname that they give them for a fish that took a year to get that big.
Yeah.
No,
they don't take that long.
I don't know for sure, which, it makes sense that it's not that. The other theory that I was thinking too is when you're talking about like how they maybe the reason, I know they're not this smart, but maybe the reason that they don't like the muddy water is because they're like 50 Cent in his one song where he's talking about how when you see him on the street, if you're real, you know how to holler G Unit, because he hate to, pop one in his fan. And I think that's kind of the same thing with, or what do you say, clap one in my fan?
I forget exactly the line, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I think that might be the same thing with the bowfin, where like in clear water, it can look up and be like, human, all good. I see your foot.
Right.
I got kids, dude. If you could just not, that'd be great.
Right.
But in murky water, something moves and it just goes,
It can't help itself.
I gotta fuck this thing up, dude. I don't know if I think
Right,
maybe
right.
it's the way it's moving. It feels like a person, but I can't take no chances, son.
Right, right.
You know,
I'm playing games with my family.
You're trying to fuck with my kids.
Motherfucker trying to kill my father.
You're trying to kill my father.
Yeah, so I'll just say I thought I had figured it out that it was like 8 to 10. So it's 8 to 10 days to hatch. And then I thought it was another 8 to 10 to get up to size.
Oh, I mean, it could be. Maybe it's like a super small window.
Now that we're talking, I don't think I found exactly I think I misinterpreted that part of it. But I will say that the males protect the eggs and the fry until the fry are foraging on their own.
That would be that would really fit into the lore well, though, of what we're going with. I've been on my own since I was 8 days old.
How old are you now, Grandpa? 29.
Old enough to party.
Oh, shit. That's funny. So, dude, another thing. Here we go. These fish are fucking hardy, long-living bastards that just are like, this is the first time I remember hearing this in all of our fish episodes.
Yeah.
Males will accept multiple females. Am I just missing that from other ones? Is it just me?
No, I don't think that's normally, because, I mean, maybe that happens, but I don't think it happens a lot because they'll like make a nest and then a female just comes by. Maybe the female is like trying to find a male that has an empty nest. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens
sounds
with
new
other
to me.
fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's like a male thing where they're like waiting for like more eggs. Or, I mean, honestly, still going.
They'll just do multiple. They'll have multiple litters, basically, is what it said.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, hey, you want to lay some fucking eggs over here? It's cool.
Right.
I'll bite your nose.
Yeah.
That's how they start mating.
Oh,
Can
really?
you imagine two of those flat-faced little fuckers biting at each other?
Just biting at each other's nose. How old are you, Grandpa? Old enough to party. How old is Grandma? I'm not sure which one is your grandma.
So yeah, it's like that. It's that one more thing in that running theme of like, these things are fucking.
Yeah, dude.
Tough.
That's crazy. They are tough. I'm accepting. And just talking to the grandkids still. How did you and Grandma meet? I put a sign up near the beach that said accepting all comers.
Gives him the wink. And that's when the parents jump in and go, God damn it, Dad, you're gross. Okay.
You got a little fucking stringer hanging out of your mouth there, Dad. Clean yourself up.
Okay. Little bit of stuff here before we wrap it up. So you remember how you said that the Bowfin were the only living thing of its family? The Amidae? So they are. Oh, we forgot the traditional. I'm supposed to fuck up the scientific name. And
yeah.
Whatever. Fuck it. We're moving on. So it's the only living member, right? So there's some discussion. Bowfin are the only living Amidae left, or like they're the only Amidae left living. That's true.
Okay.
But you said one, and I was like, yes, put a pin in that, hold that thought, right? Because one is now up for discussion. They believe that they've done, they believe now that there's enough evidence that there's two kinds of bowfin.
Oh.
Yeah. And though they look, they're super similar,
Yeah.
they are sure that there's two kinds. And really it boils down to there's one northern one and there's one southern one, and that they are actually two different kinds of bowfin, though very similar. They are two different species of bowfin, technically.
I see.
But they're still bowfin, and they're still the Amidae. So does that make sense the way I'm saying that?
Yeah.
I feel okay.
Yeah. No, I get
So,
it. It's like the same. It's like a walleye and a sauger, like real
right.
similar.
Thank you.
But they're just slightly different.
Yeah. There was a diversion
the difference is
a long time ago, but they're like the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Minnesota farmers. Now, this was something I got from the DNR that I was very surprised to see. Minnesota farmers were exploring selling their caviar.
Oh.
I was like, what? And then I find out Cajun caviar. So seems like Nolan's already got this figured out, man.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cajun caviar.
So supposedly, like that's like the nickname for the bowfin eggs, and I guess they're delicious.
Makes sense. I mean, it seems to be now knowing that people also like bowfin caviar, that the dinosaurs produce the best fish eggs, because regular caviar is from a sturgeon.
Yep.
And those are also dinosaurs.
Yep.
So if you want to you find yourself a dinosaur, do yourself a favor and pop a couple of those eggs.
Eat those fucking eggs, dude. For real. You set me up for the perfect thing, though. Is like all of this makes me super stoked to try to hunt bowfin. Like,
oh dude,
I want you to go find it, or like us to go out to get, however it works out, because in our dream fish, I'm like, it's a sturgeon for me. Like, I just really want sturgeon. There's so much about it being ancient, and there's other, and I went in, and when we talked about our dream fish, now I'm putting the bowfin high up on my list too, because of that ancient dinosaur. I want to fucking catch a dinosaur. Look, that has so much to do with it. And now knowing caviar.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know about the caviar.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be pissed if I catch one with a circle.
Don't want that one with the circle on the tail no more. Damn it.
Come, bro. I'm trying to catch your lady. What are you doing, dude? No, it'll be fine, because I still want to eat that. Because did you see with the table fare what they compare it to as far as taste goes?
No, I didn't actually get that far. But what I did find was we've talked about, and we haven't really pointed out how tough and fucking like they are armored. They are that kind of like armory outside fish. Like they got a tough skin on them. But I heard, well, first of all, they get old, like that old, like an old mature male. Yeah, this is what puts them in the like you don't really want to eat zone, because of all the mercury and buildup and shit that can happen in those old fish.
That seems to be like with any fish, when you get a really big one,
right?
They're old and they're not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. With this next statement, what I found was some of the best smoked fish you can get.
Ooh, smoked fish.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Because I would tell you what I heard. First off, they cite in this Joy of Cooking has recipes and diagrams on how you can clean and fillet the bowfin. I'm assuming that there's a YouTube video out there also. I just haven't looked into it yet because I haven't caught one. That's one of those where I catch one, then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do all this research and get myself all worked up on cleaning one before I catch one. I don't want to, count my eggs before they hatch in my mouth. That thing, give me that caviar. But no, they said
before the hatch.
So it says that others to others they are delicacies, comparing the bowfin to crawfish and snapping turtle.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was like, I like crawfish. I haven't
Yeah.
had snapping turtle, but that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like a snapping turtle. I would assume is kind of. I have had other amphibians. A turtle's an amphibian, right?
I think
I
so.
believe. I've
It's a
had
rep.
other ones, and they're just kind of like a fishy chicken, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
where it's like
They're
that's
a little tougher, a little muddier, but
yeah,
like you cook it right. I agree.
right. And
Because
crayfish is
frog legs
not that.
are the same,
Yeah.
different
So
texture, but
crayfish
same
is
flavor, pretty much.
right, exactly. And the crawfish is like a shellfish.
Right.
So I'm really curious to see what this is like.
Shit, me too, dude.
Yeah. And is it, I mean, is it because of the texture? And is that where we're getting the cotton fish from? Like, is the
Yeah. So I either mixed it up with the caviar or
okay?
the texture of the fish. I can tell you the cotton fish thing was a texture that was related to cooking from my memory of the research. I didn't actually write that down in here. So that is
Yeah,
me top of dome here trying to recall from the last week of research.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think it is the texture of it's a texture in a way, either the texture of the caviar or the texture of the meat itself.
yeah. Because as soon as you said that, that's what that my mind went to with like a crawfish tail is
Mm,
like when it's
right.
butterflied and stuff. It's kind of like that kind of
It,
you know
yeah.
it can be kind of like cottony looking.
Yeah. A little
So that's
cotton
why I
ball,
was
pretty
like,
much. Yeah. I
is
feel
that
it.
what we're talking about? Is that how it got its name? So now I'm really curious. Like I got
Yeah.
a whole bunch of questions that can only be answered by catching a
By
dinosaur.
catching a dinosaur. And
We got to get
on
out
that
there.
note, good news. This is why it also kind of bumped up on my list of things is like a lot of sturgeons are like on protected lists or threatened lists. And, they have tons of regulations or you're not even supposed to fish for them.
Yeah.
Bowfin? Fuck no, dude. Good to
Bowfin is still
go.
one of those. Yeah. Bowfin is one of those too, where there are like people do have real stories and can
Mm,
show you the scars from when they got bit, like
mm-hmm,
that dude,
mm-hmm,
where they're another one of those like carp, where people say you catch one, you throw it on the bank and you fucking leave it there. Like you
mm,
kill it.
mm.
So
So
he
yeah,
even
they're not
cites,
threatened and there's not
right.
endangered. Like
This
you
guy
can catch
even, exactly. And this guy even cites in his article that he's like, it was right before that part where it's like, to others, their delicacy. Right before that, he said to my grandpa, you slit their throats and throw them on the
throw them on the
bank.
bank.
But to other, their delicacies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, yeah, some people are still in that camp of those will bite you, kill them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
They're
it's
like,
like,
I didn't find anything about, I mean, because they're native to where they are. So like I didn't find anything either. Like carp are invasive and fuck up the shit. But like
yeah,
everything I saw about the bowfin was like, nah, it's cool. It lives here. Like
yeah,
it's not
they're
out destroying habitat or anything like that. I didn't see
yeah,
any of that shit.
they're all native. I don't know what their reasoning was, but the people in the article that were like responding to it were talking about how they thought it was a good thing.
Hmm.
And the one guy did say that 90%, I really want to almost get in contact with this guy and be like, where do you live? Because he says that like 90% of the fish that you catch, like the first fish of the day is going to be a bowfin
Whoa.
because it was where his rivers were, where it went out. The bowfin were the only one that survived. And then when the water came back and everything got back to normal, they stocked the lakes again or
Yep.
like the rivers that it fed into or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now the bowfish just fed on that. So now they have like a healthy population of bowfin that got bigger.
That's
And
yeah.
yeah,
That's kind of what I was gonna say. Is like I wonder if that like old besides their like viciousness that is kind of like the lore around them. And not I'm using that as just an easy way to describe like the stories, right?
Yeah.
That combined with the fact that they are just voracious eaters, like they kind of
Yeah.
if that's meat, I'm fucking eating it. So maybe they are
Right.
outperforming some of the other species in the area. So like there's this this mentality of like, well, if I catch a bowfin, I'm going to fucking kill it because I would rather have the bass that are also trying to spawn here take that spot.
Right.
If there's one less bowfin, that means
Yeah.
there's two more bass or something.
There's
That's sort
a
of a
lot of
thought
people.
process.
Yeah. There's a lot of people with that shithead mentality
Yeah.
of a lot of fish, actually.
Yeah.
There's some videos on the internet, where the people always post like those Karen videos before Karen was a thing,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They always, oh, Karen comes out and says shit on the dock. They used to have, I've seen quite a few videos. It seems like people are more educated now, but people would be catching like muskies, getting them up to the boat, and then freaking mad that they caught a muskie because they were trying for walleye and have their little billy club and just club the shit over the head and throw
What
it
the
back.
fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, just murder it and then toss it back. I saw one guy confront another guy and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "Shit fish, trying to eat all the walleyes." And the guy's like, "I'm out here trying to catch those."
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so it was a whole
Dude.
confrontation of, some people are just like that. They're just, I can't eat this
Whoa.
fish.
Right.
It's eating the fish I want to eat. It must die.
Right. Yeah. Such a shitty. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's not cool.
Right. Nope. Most people are on that same boat, but every once in a while you get these weird backwoods hillbilly guys that are just like, it's just, if you're not with me, you're against me type shit.
Yeah. That sort of shit. And yeah. I gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up. Let's wrap up Bowfin. I think it's got us amped. Me and you both amped. But
hell yeah, dude! I didn't know you could eat the eggs and shit. I'm excited about all that stuff.
But you have a goal to catch one on your home turf.
Yes.
What are you feeling right now? Just talk to us.
I've been thinking this whole time of just putting like a sucker minnow on a big bobber and just putting it way shallow, because that's how I had success on accident. Was a big sunfish on a stringer.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking, of just putting it up in the weeds and just letting it sit where I've seen it before. The only thing is that it's kind of awkward to sit there with a big bobber in shallow water, because I'm not far off of docks where there are people, and then I'd just be sitting there.
Right. I got
Most likely, because I'm bobber fishing with a big bobber and not expecting to catch fish constantly, I'll be sitting there drinking beer, like close enough to their place.
Right.
Just be like, "Hey,
what's up?
What are you going for?" Dinosaur, hopefully.
Yeah, dude, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think, there's a couple different spots that I think might be in the same realm, so maybe we'll try there and down a little bit further.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I got some ideas of where to go, but yeah, my idea is just, I caught one. The one that I caught was on a night crawler, bobber fishing.
Okay.
And then that one that took my bait was just grabbing a sunfish, and they all say stuff. So I don't know if it's more of they got to be in a real aggressive mood to smash something. And then if you just put something there, they'll swim up and think about it. So it might just be a waiting game of just put something big and live on a hook and let it sit there and see what happens.
Right. Were those in the evening times? Like, was that sort of as the day was coming to an end, or
always midday
just like
in the
midday.
sun is when I saw them.
Yeah.
They might be more active at night, and
Yeah, I mean, according to what, the things that I saw is like they stay deep during the day, and then at night they will come back, they will come up. And that's why I asked, because obviously your experience is not that. But it makes me think, okay, if you're seeing big ones behave like that, and this is typical behavior, then what are the big ones doing? Your potential of catching a big one, your lofty goal last year, it makes you think.
And in the areas that I've seen them, if they were willing to hit like a big topwater bait, which is kind of the only thing you can toss in some of those areas, because the weeds are so thick, you can really only go above them. You really can't go through them.
Okay.
They're definitely not into hitting any of the topwater shit I was throwing, because I have casted over all these spots so many fucking times for muskies,
Mm-hmm.
and they've never hit a lure muskie size.
Okay. I got you.
But they did eat that sunfish that was like a muskie size
musky
lure.
size.
So
Yeah.
that's where, you know, my kind of deductive reasoning is I can't fish above the weeds, and I don't have a lot of options to fish in the weeds. And I've definitely casted like bigger soft baits and you know, other style of like a jig with like a weedless, you know, like a skirted jig with the
Right.
the weed guard, you know, trying to fish like something that's made they go in heavier weeds in these area, and have caught bass. But I've never had any luck with I've never caught a bowfin in my parents' lake, and I've seen plenty of them. So
Right.
really it's down to, I don't know what else I can get it to bite on.
Right.
So my thought is to just go and grab a giant sucker minnow and throw it where I've seen them before, and hope it comes out of hiding.
Yeah.
Because I've seen massive snapping turtles in the same areas. It's
Sure.
like they can just disappear into the weeds. So I don't see them all the time, but it's like there's a good chance they're there.
It's there. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like yeah.
I just got to put something big wobbling for a while, and hopefully it comes out.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Fucking A. All right. Let's jump into the random take. It's going to be talking about human meat. If you're listening to this on a Wednesday, you just go listen to and you want to hear this, and you know it's not out yet, then you know you should.
Who would have thunk that we were going to talk about eating dinosaurs and humans? God dang, dude, I didn't see it going this way.
It's a weird one. All right, hit the break.